I talked about Star Wars earlier in the show, and aside from I gave away one little bitty spoiler when I explained that Jar Jar Binks slaughtered all the Ewoks and then barbecued them and ate them, and how surprised I was at that. But the amazing thing about this movie, aside from the fact that it's breaking box office records, and aside from the fact that it's actually getting some of the nerds out of the basement and into the light of day, is that it creates other industries, cottage industries, if you will. And we should talk about that term, cottage industries, on a future show, because it's important, especially here on a show that is so pro-capitalism. But I read a story about the toys from Star Wars and how those toys had really set some stunning records. Not from this one, but from the early one. And believe it or not, the person who was analyzing this and talking about these toys and how they are financially, if you're right about it, very profitable, very good for you, is a CPA. I like to call her Holly the Money Therapist. Her name is Holly Signorelli. She is a certified public accountant. You may have seen her on or all over the place in media. But I figured we should talk to Holly about this. We should talk to her about toy speculation. And as a CPA, as somebody who tries to help people with their money, be smarter with it, etc., she knows all this stuff. So welcome to Pure Opelka for the very first time. Holly, the Money Therapist. How are you?
I'm doing great. Yeah, the weather's amazing here in Dallas. It might as well be fall and not December.
Well, you know, up here in the Northeast, I got out of bed, and there was actually a chill in the air for the first time since November. And in past years, we've been up to our tuchus in snow. But this year, I'm still cutting roses, believe it or not, from my rose garden.
That is crazy, because on my memories on Facebook the other day, because I go to New York a lot, I had a picture of my son was going to school there for a while, where it was just snowing so bad he barely got out to get back here for Christmas. So you guys are having a mild winter so far.
I will take it, and I'm also going to take the blame, Holly, and I have to tell you, last year we had all that snow. It seemed like it snowed every other weekend, and we were out of salt. I was finding salt wherever I could, buying 5-pound bags of salt and hoarding it. And this year I was like, okay, I got you, winter. I'm not going to get suckered into it. And I bought 3 50-pound bags of salt. And I have yet to open one of them. So
I promise you'll get to use them. You know it's going to happen.
I know. I'm hoping. Well, you caught my eye. Your story or your discussion of these Star Wars toys and the people that bought these toys was just stunning. I have to tell people, I immediately thought, well, geez, maybe this is a smart idea on where to put your money. Go out and buy a bunch of these toys and put them in the basement. And I'm sure you have thoughts on that.
I do. First of all, I have kind of a calculator in my brain for some reason. I guess I was born that way. So I went back and calculated the rate of return on this one person that had just kept a figure set. That's it, of the 4 original figures from the first one, and they got $35,000 or $32,000, and that was over a 35-year period. So that means that the rate of return every year was like 28%. If only we could all get that in the stock market, right?
Wow, yeah. That's pretty darn amazing. You don't get that. And I saw one that was like a Luke Skywalker that sold just one sealed package action figure, sold for like 30-some thousand.
Yeah, no, that one was $25,000. But it's crazy because it probably only costs, like, an action figure now. What are action figures going for? Are they like $5? Have they gone up to $10? Because of Star Wars?
Are you geek testing me? Are you trying to see just how geeky I am? I can proudly tell you I don't know, Holly. I have no idea.
But I bet that Luke Skywalker back in the day, you got to remember, it was a brand new show.
Yeah.
And that is why it's so valuable. So in my opinion, buying them now, of course people should buy them. They're fun. I mean, we're all Star Wars fans. I mean, it's a great series. There's no question. But the reason that's so valuable is because at that point, nobody knew what was going to happen. And it was also so different than any other movie that had ever been made. So the figures now, of course, go out and buy them and have a good time, but don't expect for them to appreciate the same way because it's not new anymore. Kind of like a penny stock, too, you know? How many penny stocks actually pay off, right?
That's a great point. You have to have something tried and true. You have to be smart. And isn't the old Wall Street rumor or adage, buy on the rumor, sell on the news?
Exactly.
So when the news comes out, it's already too late. But if
it's too late, you have to be somebody who just had a forethought about it because it is too late. But it's also a very low investment. So if you want to buy some figurines or whatever you want to get, and you want to spend, even if you spent $100 on a second set that you never opened and it wasn't worth anything in 35 years, would you care?
No, no, because you took a shot with $100 and you saw maybe something happened. Everybody's thinking they've got that one piece that's worth this was $500,000 because Luke has 9 fingers on one hand and he doesn't have a red saber. He's got a purple saber. You know, they look for the anomaly, the weird double stamping or something. Because mistakes are money in collectibles. But let's talk money, because I know you're a person who loves to help people with their finances. Right. And if we are looking forward, and I want to remind people, first of all, we're talking to Holly, the money therapist. And if you go to themoneytherapist.com, you'll see Holly and get advice from her. If we're looking ahead to 2016, do you have any thoughts on what's coming around the corner?
I think really this holiday season was different. People were actually spending less. They were doing more cyber shopping, and people are tired of being stressed by the holidays because in January, there's like this spending starvation that takes place because everybody's been stressed out and overspent. So I feel like kind of the energy of the planet's changing a little bit where people are tired of their self-sabotaging mechanisms, things that people do to keep them in debt. So my message, I'm going to start doing webinars next year. I don't know why I haven't been doing them, but I think the real message is how to have a really great life that's balanced. So, pay down your credit cards, put money in your savings, and also give money for yourself, because when you're balanced and you're taking care of you too, then you're going to do better at whatever you do. If you just go to work to pay credit card debt, you're going to lose that, that thing that you have, like whatever you're selling, your product or service. If you're only doing it to pay debt, it changes the way you approach your work and your passion for it. But if you get to have something for you too, and you're being responsible and setting money aside and paying down debt, then you can feel good about going to work. It's kind of like the idea of a desperate car salesman. That he just wants a commission. He's not trying to help you. So you're going to make more money and be more successful if you're doing something that you love and if you're balancing the way you spend things. Because it's fear and emotions that cause people to overspend.
I like that, Holly. That's a common sense approach. It's not just pure numbers, but it's also about having a sense of balance in your life and understanding the purpose of work and understanding the purpose and the strength and the utility of credit. Now, speaking of credit and borrowing costs and credit card interest rates, the Fed just ever so slightly inched up the lending rates, the base rate, like 25, a quarter of a point, right? 25 basis points. How is that going to affect us? And are more of those little sneaky raises coming up in the next year?
I think it's inevitable, but I don't think it's a bad thing, because what happened, back in 2008 was pretty catastrophic time for our country. So the rates went down so ridiculously low that that's actually not good for the overall economy either. It does get people to go out there and buy things, which stimulates the economy. But going up a quarter of a basis point is not a lot. It's not really causing a major impact. I remember when I bought my townhouse a long time ago, I was paying 9% because that was the normal rate. It wasn't a high rate or it didn't have anything to do with credit or income. It was like that was the rate. So I don't think we're going back to that.
Well,
if
that's
we
good.
do, it's not going to be anytime soon.
Well, that's good. I'm old enough to remember during the Carter administration when prime was over 20%, and it was frightening if you owed money, but it was great if you had money in CDs and could lock up a 10 and 12% return on your money for a long time. Holly, the money therapist, thank you for being part of Pure Opelka on our last show of the year and talking Star Wars toys and common sense finance. I have to ask you, do you celebrate Christmas in your house?
Absolutely, yeah.
Real tree or fake tree?
A fake tree. We have cats, and they just destroy the tree. So we got one of those real skinny trees this year, but they still managed to destroy it. So it's all good.
Yeah, they look at it as a toy. I think cats
they
look
love
at it.
it.
They go, "Oh, this is great. Thank you. We're going to tear this down."
Yeah, we've just accepted it. When they get older and fatter and they're sleeping all day, maybe they won't do it. I don't know. It's going to be a while.
When does the tree come down?
Well, I am one of those, I'm so type A, you can probably imagine. So right after the 25th, on the 26th, I'm ready to get rid of everything and move on to the new year. But my husband, of course, likes to keep it till January 1st. And since he's the one taking it down, that's pretty much what's going to happen.
I like that. I like that he's got a say in the matter. Very good. Very good. Well, Holly, I hope you will join us again in the future. If you feel like there's a money topic that our audience needs to know about, please feel like you have a friendly space here on the Blaze Radio Network and here with me, Michael.
Oh,
Palka.
Absolutely. In January, we can cover some tax, stuff. Nobody likes to talk about it, but sometimes there's a few things you need to know.
Great.
So,
thanks for all the happy news and all the happy thoughts of tax time.
Right, right. Never mind.
We'll talk about that in the new year. Holly, thank you so much.
Great.
Have a great, great Christmas. And tell your husband I'm happy he's standing up for his right to make the decision on when that tree comes down.
Exactly. Okay, have a wonderful holiday.
Thanks. Take care.
Bye-bye.
This podcast brought to you by